Today we're designing a brand identity for your restaurant completely from scratch, following the 6 simple steps I take when designing professional brands for my clients. So stick around if you want to see the brand design process that will avoid confusion, frustration, and underwhelming results. Here's the brief. La Forchetta is a restaurant that brings the heart of Italy to life through its food, ambience, and passion for tradition. Known for its handmade pastas and rich, flavorful sauces, the restaurant offers a dining experience that feels both comforting and elevated. So we need the brand identity to convey the warmth and charm of Italy. Because whether guests are enjoying a quiet dinner for two or celebrating a special occasion, here they'll find an inviting atmosphere that feels like home. Building a brand goes way beyond just making a nice looking logo. A brand is not only about visuals, it's about the impression people live with and the meaning they attach to it. And that's where brand strategy comes in. The goal of the brand strategy is to help us understand who the brand is, what makes it different, who its customers are, and how it communicates. So when designing brands, it's crucial to speak with the client and get as much information about the business as possible, because that's gonna allow us designers to build a solid brand strategy that sets the foundation for the visual design. In the case of La Forchetta, every decision needs to tell the story that this restaurant is where tradition meets modern hospitality, leaving every guest with a fork full of joy and a craving to return. Other than to get clarity on how the brand should feel, the brand strategy allows us to get the creative direction, which puts the client and the designer on the same page, and it guides the visual identity process. During this stage, I collect visuals that align with the brand strategy and that help me put into visuals everything the brand stands for. I personally use Pinterest, Cosmos, and the real world to find inspiration. Once I've gathered all of the inspiration, the next step is to put it into a curated, detailed mood board. And a mood board isn't just a random collection of images, it's a cohesive visual direction that communicates the personality, the look, the feel of the brand, so that the client can clearly see what the brand you're envisioning looks like. I always recommend sending at least 2 different mood boards to the clients. That way, we can quickly pinpoint what resonates with the business, unlocking a direction that truly matches their vision. In our case, the mood board chosen features warm colors, bold typefaces, hand-drawn illustrations, and moody images to help us convey the brand personality and the brand values: authenticity, quality, warmth, craftsmanship, community, and innovation. After the strategy and the creative direction, the next step is the visual identity. And the visual identity is just basically a fancy word that encompasses your logos, your color palette, your typefaces, your images, everything that is visual. I typically like starting this phase with the logo design, so the first step we need to do is sketch and brainstorm concepts. If you have trouble coming up with concepts at first, it really helps to create a mind map with relevant words that give you ideas. And it's also important to let your creativity flow and draw anything that comes to mind, even if it's not perfect. This stage is all about experimenting. In the case of La Forchetta, since the brand really needs to feel modern and elevated, the logo is going to be mostly typographic, and that will be the focal point. I'm also thinking of modifying the font so it looks like a fork, and also adding a handmade illustration. With the sketches finished and a couple of ideas worth exploring, I moved to Envato Elements and Google Fonts to source some typefaces. Houston called my attention because of the already built-in fork aesthetic, so I went with that, and Gastella for the secondary font. The primary logo is quite minimal. It features the name of the brand using the primary font, adjusted so that the E has the fork-like features. And I added the descriptive below with a more intricate font to give the balance the logo needs. For the secondary logo, I wanted to create an illustration so that the brand gave off a handmade yet modern feel. Finally, for the logo mark, I wanted to mimic the shape spaghetti make when thrown on a plate, messy. So I put the initials of the brand in the middle, and I created lines that imitated the shapes pasta would make. A brand with only logos wouldn't work, so I moved to my iPad to start the next phase of the visual identity process: the illustrations. Since the business is known for its pasta, I created different illustrations that could serve as icons on a website or other print materials, as well as the base for our brand pattern. So once the pasta illustrations were completed, I put them in a brand pattern that we'll use in the brand assets like the menu, business cards, etc. Once the illustrations and the patterns are completed, a brand needs something else to tie all of those things together: the color palette and the typefaces. As you've seen already, the color palette for La Forchetta conveys warmth, elegance, and appetite, and the typefaces feel modern, clean, and authentic. The visual identity we designed needs to live somewhere, and that's what we call the collaterals or brand assets. Typically, a client will tell the designer which assets they need help with, so in our case, I created a business card design, menu design, and a couple of mock-ups to see how the brand identity looked in real life. This is the process I follow in my real client brand identity projects to minimize revisions and create something that clients really resonate with. If you like the branding for La Forquera, I'm so excited to tell you that this brand identity is available as a brand kit so that you can purchase it and I'll customize it with your business. Just go to my website, link down below, and fill out the questionnaire quickly because there's only one available. If you need something more custom for your brand, I would also love to work together, so just inquire through the contact form in my website. And if you like the presentations I showed throughout the video, I leave my templates linked down below. Thank you so much for watching if you've made it this far, and subscribe to my channel if you don't want to miss any of my future videos. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!